Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the RoundUp podcast. I'm Jack.
I'm RJ.
And I'm Patrick.
And we're back today for another week. And so, yes, September 9th. So we got week 1 NFL recap and a preview of it. And then we'll start off with college football. We're recapping week 1 and 2. Week 2,
Yeah,
right?
we can just we did a little bit of a recap of week 1, so
Okay.
we'll just do a week 2 recap.
Bet.
Fine with me.
So RG, how about you lead us off, honestly, because you were at Wisconsin. You were at the University of Wisconsin. You went to the game. So
Wisconsin. One thing I want to say about Camp Randall Stadium, that place is going to be a memory I always have. Like, it was a great experience. It was a sellout, the first sellout of the season, playing an underrated South Dakota team, good FCS team, and those fans are very, very passionate there. They love football, and I saw the frats. They were having DJs and a bunch of people getting ready for the game, and it was a great experience. And then after the third quarter, they do a special tradition there, and it's the jump around, and you have 76,000 people doing the jump around. Let me tell you something. It was one of the greatest experiences I ever seen. And it was awesome. After the jump around, half the stadium empty because Wisconsin was up by a touchdown. But it was cool, though, The jump around, it keeps everyone to stay, I think the jump around is one of the best traditions in sports.
Real college football over there.
Oh, yeah.
No
joke. No, listen, that's no joke. And their team isn't bad. I mean, they got Alabama this week coming up, which we'll get to later. But it was a great experience. I had a great time. That's it.
Just to connect it to what we were talking about last week real quick, we need that. We need Boston College to be that for us. Because, we go to Merrimack for Merrimack fans, but, we're not getting a crowd like Wisconsin. We need Boston College to kind of take those reins in Massachusetts and in Boston. Because we don't have real college football like that. Like SEC football, obviously. At least give us some good ACC football.
yeah, obviously, that must have been awesome, and we're going to talk about Wisconsin is playing Bama next week. I remember a few years ago, I was watching on TV, it's open the season. Wisconsin was playing Penn State. The game was at Wisconsin. This team gets loud. Obviously, probably wasn't as packed. It was an FCS team, right? They played an FCS team. This place is going to be rocking. I think it's hard. They got Luke Fickle from Cincinnati. I think that's their coach now. I gotta do a little bit more research. He is a very, very good coach. But like we've talked about, the Big Ten is just it's so good, especially now with USC, Oregon joining. It's hard for teams like Wisconsin. But speaking of week 2, Alabama didn't look good. They won 42-16, but it was very, very close until the fourth quarter. They pulled away against South Florida. I was saying it on my TikTok account, Petty Mags Game Day. I talk about some college football stuff on there, but I think Wisconsin could win. I don't know. RG, you're the atmosphere is the crowd going to get into it? They could legit win. I really do.
I'm going to say this from what I experienced from being at that game. They need to be louder if they're going to be Alabama. They need to be louder. They were loud for the third quarter of that game, but the second quarter was The third quarter they were loud, and the beginning of the fourth quarter they were a little loud because of jump around. The jump around gets everyone going. But the jump around's not till after the third quarter. So you gotta the fans gotta bring it. The students were showing up. The student section wasn't really filled till the second quarter, but the student section was packed. I couldn't believe all these people I was seeing. I was like, I should join them. I was saying to myself, I should get a Wisconsin sweatshirt and join them. I should be a part of the Wisconsin Badgers for a day, and jump around and meet some people. But I was wearing a Celtics sweatshirt, so I wasn't doing that.
But I was putting on the Alabama South Florida game. I honestly had watched too much football, so I was I can't watch another game. Sometimes it gets sometimes I'm what am I doing? I gotta take a little break. Anyway, though. I was watching a little bit. What do you guys think about that? Obviously, you're looking at the score. It was 42-16 final score, but it was very, very close. Now, this is kind of what happened to Alabama last year with Jalen Milroe, and they had their quarterback issues, defense issues, offense issues. But then again, look at last year. They had Nick Saban, and he can obviously overcome a lot of stuff. They made it to Rose Bowl College Football Playoff, and they beat Georgia in the SEC Championship. Brand new coach. Not saying Kalen DeBoer can't do this. Obviously, he took Washington to the championship last year, but I feel like they're going to bounce back. But they have to go to a very, very tough environment. And how are they going to respond? How are they going to play well in this? I don't know.
Absolutely, it's going to be tough for them. Honestly, what do you think, RG? Because
I was there. Wisconsin has to play better. Their QB got to play better. Their defense, I thought their defense played good. In the fourth quarter, they only allowed 7 total yards.
wow.
The fourth quarter, they were locked in.
Yeah.
I told you, the jump around. After the jump around, they were locked in. You had the whole stadium, I got videos and everything. It was awesome. But I don't know. I want to pick Wisconsin because I was there, and I kind of like the people over there, It's kind of like everyone's chill. They're like all football people.
Good people.
And they would die for the Green Bay Packers over there in Wisconsin. They would die on that field, those people. You had to see, there was people in my hotel wearing Green Bay Packer socks, Green Bay Packer boots, and a bunch of other stuff. A Green Bay Packers Brazil thing, because they were in Brazil, and they had cheese heads over there and everything. They would die for the Green Bay Packers.
It's in season right now. It's the perfect time. The season.
No, I'm saying the Milwaukee Brewers are in first place in their division in baseball, and on a Friday night the ballpark was mostly empty. It was half empty, and I was saying they sold out last Friday. The lady was telling us, but I'm saying you should sell out every game if you're a first place team. I don't care if the Packers are on too. It's the Packers, but the Brewers are a first place team who are going to make the playoffs. So I was kind of confused about that. But
Yeah.
I told you, it's football county over there, and you get the Bucks with Giannis, obviously, but
And they got Jordan Love now.
It is.
They love their Packers over there.
And we'll get into the Wisconsin Bama game in just about 10 minutes or so. But I want to talk about Texas and Michigan. Like I said last week, you guys are like, oh, I think Michigan's gonna win. I think it's gonna be a close game. I told you what they were gonna do.
Was that you?
What?
You had Michigan being close?
I had Michigan being close.
Yeah, I'll be brutally honest. I thought the game was going to be close. Now, either Michigan isn't good or Texas is just unbelievable. I think Texas is really good. Now, we're not going to know how good they are until they face Georgia in about 3 to 4 weeks. That is the real test for them.
Absolutely.
And when they actually play competitive SEC ball. But, Quinn Ewers, he balled out. They played unbelievable in that game. Shout out Texas. Hook 'em horns, everyone.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to say this now. They win the national championship. I'm saying it now.
Texas.
I would love them to win it.
Let me give a reason, though. I'm not going to just say they're going to win it. They went into Michigan and destroyed them. Michigan hasn't lost a home game in 3 years. I don't care who their quarterback is. I don't care they got a new coach and whatever. They're still one of the top programs ever in college football. And they haven't lost a home game in 3 years. And Texas just went in there like it was nothing and destroyed them. Quinn Ewers put phenomenal numbers against that defense. And, after that performance, I'm taking them to win it all.
He jumped up in the Heisman race. I think he's number one in the Heisman race.
No, he's won in the Heisman race after that.
Dude, I love this kid so much. I love watching him play. He's just so good at football. He makes college football just so fun to watch.
They're going to win it. I'm telling you, they're going to win it.
And think about this also. Joel Klatt and Gus Johnson. I just completely forgot about this. This was one game away from being the national championship last year. Isn't that crazy to think about? I was like, oh wow, that's actually so true. Could you imagine if that was a championship? That would also have been fun to watch. I still think maybe Michigan would have won that game. I think their defense was too dominant. Like we said, Michigan, they lost a lot of people, but like you said, RG, they haven't lost a home game in over 2 years or something like that. Texas's defense looked really good. I just don't know how to feel about this game. I think Texas's defense is good. But what's going to happen when they play Georgia? Is Georgia's defense just going to kill this team? Their O-line looked really good, Texas. So I don't know. It's only week 2, so it's so early to think about it. But Texas looked really good. They moved to number 2 in the AP poll. Nobody's better than Georgia until they can beat Georgia. Georgia deserves to be number 1. Ohio State looks really good too. I was a little surprised that they moved up. But they destroyed Michigan, so they deserve to be number 2. Anything else on this game?
Going back a little bit to what you said Georgia's the real test. I completely agree. But like at the same time, like Michigan is definitely a worthy opponent. Like
Yes,
this is a big game.
yes.
They're a top 10 ranked team for a reason. But obviously we get a feel for both teams. Like Texas is legit. Obviously we have to wait to see what they do against Georgia. See how legit. Like are they a top 2, top 3 team, or are they more a top 5, top 10 team? I think we're definitely gonna have to wait to see that Georgia game. But I mean, you beat up on Michigan like that. I mean, they're still Michigan. Obviously they're not last year's Michigan, but they're still Michigan. It's a really good win.
Well, that's why I said I'm going to take them to win the Natty after that performance. I was very impressed, and Georgia's going to be a test, absolutely. I'm looking forward to that game. I think it's in 3 or 4 weeks. You said?
Yeah.
Where's the game?
There's a bunch of games coming up. Oregon, which we'll get to. Oregon, Ohio State are playing.
Yeah, but where's the game for
it's
Georgia?
at Texas.
I
mean, that's gonna be
Texas
that might be the game of the year.
Yeah, it actually might be.
That really might be.
Which one is this?
I have goosebumps for that game. That's gonna be phenomenal.
Which game are we?
Texas and Georgia.
I think it's like October 20th or something. 20. It's somewhere like mid-October.
So Georgia plays Alabama on September 28th, and then
Yes.
Georgia and Texas, they're gonna play. What is it? October? I don't know. It's not this.
Yeah.
Texas plays Oklahoma October 12th.
Yeah, they
and
got
then-
back to back, and then they got Oklahoma, then Texas.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
sorry, Oklahoma, then Georgia. My fault.
So yeah, Texas and Georgia is on October 19th. Yep.
And
wow.
as we move on into Bowling Green and Penn State, I mean, this I feel like this happens every year. Like, is it just is the Penn State offense just horrible? I mean, and the defense did not play well at all. I mean, they brought in this offensive coordinator from Kansas, who obviously developed Kansas into be really good. Kansas also lost this week, which we'll get into, but I don't know, maybe Drew Aller just isn't the guy.
Maybe not.
If this is the way they're going to be playing, Ohio State's going to beat them by 35 points.
And it's weird because I
That's
thought
crazy.
Drew Aller was the type of guy to protect the football. If you look at his stats previously, he already threw a pick.
The people it's still early in the year, and maybe, but you can't not beat West Virginia on the road pretty good, and then play against Bowling Green and not play this well. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, people are like, oh, Drew Aller's the answer. They're going to make the playoff. I mean, right now, I don't know. They're not beating USC after that performance.
No.
They're not going to beat Ohio State. And I know they have to play, I don't know, there's one other team. Ohio State, USC. I mean, they're not going to beat those teams. And that's already 2 losses. They get in the playoff. I don't know. I mean, it's a long season.
They play at Wisconsin too.
Yes. That legit could be 3 losses for them.
At Minnesota.
Wisconsin's tough to play in.
Yeah.
Listen, Penn State, I was very disappointed with that performance. Very disappointed. I remember I was texting Pat and Jack during the game because I was at the Wisconsin game, but I was checking the scores, and I was like, Bowling Green's up 14-7. I was like, what is this? What is this? It's embarrassing. And I think Penn State needs to wake up. This is your best opportunity in the Big Ten this year, in my opinion. But I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with them after that game. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, they won. Let me put it this way. There's some wins you say are not good wins. This might sound ridiculous, but I'm going to say it anyways. Okay? When you win a sloppy game, it's not a good performance. And there's a lot of stuff you need to improve on. Because when you play legit contenders, you know what's going to happen. They're going to bowl you out if you play like that. You played a Bowling Green team who I don't even know what conference they're in, but
I don't know.
You struggle to a Bowling Green team. What if that was Ohio State? You lose by 35 points.
Yeah.
So that's a horrible win for them.
That's what I'm saying.
Horrible win. Horrible.
Speaking of horrible wins, Northern Illinois and Notre Dame. If you guys do not know, anybody listening, Notre Dame paid Northern Illinois $1.2 million to play them, and they lost 16-14. Oh my God, Notre Dame football is just horrendous.
Riley Leonard.
I mean, it's every year for this team.
They
Like,
out.
what are they supposed to do?
And
Maybe Brian Kelly wasn't the issue. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe Notre Dame football isn't really that good.
Right, dude.
Well, Marcus Freeman should be fired after that game, in my opinion. And I would start trying to hire people. I'll be starting to look for a coach after that game. Because Notre Dame's, I was texting someone because one of my friends is a Notre Dame fan, and he was like, they can make the playoffs. They go 11-1. I'm like, they're not going 11-1 if you can't beat Northern Illinois. I don't care what you say. They're not making the playoffs after that game, in my opinion. So
No.
Marcus Freeman's on the hot seat. And you know who I can see going there? I know he hasn't proven himself yet, but he's still a football guy. Is Deion Sanders? I can see
Notre
him
Dame.
being the next Notre Dame head coach after
No.
this season. After
No
Shadir
way.
Sanders gets drafted to the NFL, I can see Deion Sanders taking over that team.
Yeah, no way.
Yep, that's
no
my
way.
Yep, that's my take.
Deion Sanders has a thing where he loves to just like act like the guy and be this guy, but he's not producing good football. He's there to produce Travis Hunter and Shadir Sanders as NFL players. He's not there to win games. He's not there. He doesn't care about Colorado. Why would he? I'm not like a Deion Sanders hater, but I'm not necessarily a fan of him as a football coach. Like I feel like he's not really serious about it. Like he comes around right when his blue chip quarterback prospect son is in college. Like it makes sense. He's only there for that.
Yeah, but let me put it this way: Colorado, before he got there, was a bottom tier program, and yes, they haven't really made significant upgrades because their offensive line is like watching middle school football offensive linemen,
That's
which
the
is
thing.
embarrassing.
But whose fault's that?
Well, yeah, it's his fault. because
Yeah.
of the portal.
And then
but he needs to build the offensive line, which he didn't do, and his defense stinks. They're terrible.
And then his son wants to come out in press conconferences and blame it on his
I was
offensive line.
just about to say that.
It's like, yeah, Shitter, are you wrong? No, you're not
He's
wrong.
not
Your
wrong.
offensive line sucks. But you, Shitter and Deion, you guys came to the school with Travis Hunter, knowing that the trenches suck, knowing that your run game sucks, knowing that everybody else, your defense, it's not good. So it's like,
Yeah.
why are you trying to blame them? It's your fault. You are here to, be exciting and be a good prospect.
You
And show-
also have to know that last year your offensive line wasn't good. They have made no changes. If we talk about the game this weekend, I hope you guys are going to hop on the Nebraska Cornhuskers train with me because I love this team right now. But Colorado, oh my God, they played horrendous. Yeah, Shadir Sanders in the post-game press conference saying, oh, his O-line is so bad. Oh, how's that going to turn out? Probably start fighting. I know they have locker room issues down at Colorado. It's just a complete mess. They're
Exactly.
1-1 on the season.
Exactly. So why would Notre Dame take Deion in?
Yeah, their whole team is Travis Hunter and Shadir Sanders.
That's what I'm saying.
And if you double cover Travis Hunter, they're not good.
It's like
Let's
Jimmy
be honest.
Ward's all right, but what's that going to do?
Yeah.
You can't, with no
Yeah, but-
protection, no.
Okay, but Deion Sanders is the greatest corner who ever played a game of football. Okay, and if he went to a big program like Notre Dame, you're gonna have guys who are gonna want to go there. His son's gonna be drafted, so that drama will be all over. The drama and Hunter's gonna get drafted. His two favorite people, all over. That drama will be done. Deion can really start focusing on coaching, and he can really, make Notre Dame the powerhouse they need to be. Because they're not gonna be a powerhouse this season. They're not.
They're
They're
not
done.
wrong, but at the
But
same
you
time...
can't tell me. I mean, I don't know about now, but like in the future, he could get an NFL job.
He could, but
He
is he
could.
serious about that? Or is
I
he
mean,
only...
if his son's there, maybe
But
he
is he-
wants to.
Yeah, but
Maybe
You
think
got a
about
point.
it.
You got a point, but who
Right?
wants to bring that into the NFL?
I don't know if I want to bring this to NFL.
I mean, not yet because he's not really doing much at Colorado. But like, I mean, he played in the NFL. I would not be surprised if the Panthers called him. I mean, just after we'll talk about the Panthers in a little bit. I don't know. I just would not be surprised. If would you be surprised if the Panthers called Deion Sanders and be like, you want to be your head coach? I wouldn't.
Listen,
I don't
to me.
think
With
so.
David Tepper at the home of that team, I would not be
Yeah.
surprised.
Listen. I'd rather coach a big time college school than that team. I'm sorry. The Panthers
No,
are
I
a
know.
complete mess. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Colorado looked pretty bad against Nebraska. I'm not gonna lie. And this week they got a tough opponent too, in my opinion. It's the Battle of Colorado, and Colorado State almost beat them last year. And honestly, I might take them to win this game against Colorado. It's at Colorado State. It's a rivalry game. There's a ton of beef in this game. That dirty hit on Travis Hunter last year. That cheap shot. I don't know. I might take Colorado State. I really might. But we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So moving on from Colorado, let's talk about Nebraska. Did you guys watch the game?
Yes, I did. I was watching it at the bar.
Oh
Yeah,
man. Dylan. Okay.
He's a beast.
Dylan Raiola,
He's a beast.
dude. They would actually showed clips of him like compared to Mahomes. Some of the throws. Listen, I'm not saying he's at his level yet. I'm not saying that.
No.
But some of the throws he made, they looked exactly like Patrick Mahomes.
He's clearly
He-
inspired by him.
Dude, he's like a clone of him, dude. He looks exactly like him.
Do you guys know how good that kid's gonna be?
Dude,
he was supposed to go to
he's
Georgia.
insane.
Yeah.
He was
Why
supposed to go to
didn't he?
Georgia.
Why didn't he?
Because he's a dog. No, it's not why.
But Raiola's a freshman, right?
No,
He's a
Raiola,
freshman.
his family, I think somebody in his family went to Nebraska, and he's like, you know what, I want to build back this team.
I respect
They have
that.
Matt Rule.
I respect
Matt
that dog.
Matt Rule's a phenomenal coach.
You got a point.
But they're 2-0 right now. They got Northern Illinois, Purdue, Rutgers, Indiana. Then they play Ohio State. You can't tell me they're not going to be undefeated going into Ohio State.
They are going to be undefeated.
They're going to be undefeated. Are they going to shock the world and beat Ohio State? I don't know.
Where's the game?
The game's at Ohio State.
Never
But
mind.
could you imagine Dylan Raiola goes into that stadium, puts up like 6 touchdowns, and beats Ohio State in a thriller?
No way.
I need that game. Undefeated Nebraska at undefeated Ohio State.
When's that game?
It would be 10-26.
Dylan Raiola, let me tell you something. This kid's special. He's special. Honestly, he's probably the best college QB. Well, actually, maybe not right now. I might be a reach. But he's going to be the best QB probably next year. That's for sure. He's a freshman. And honestly, he's probably better than Shadir Sanders, in my opinion. He's a beast.
He's disgusting.
If I say he's the best QB right now, I don't even think it's crazy. I really don't.
In college?
Well, Quinn Ewers, but I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
Quinn
He's top
Ewers
10.
is the best. But,
Top
top
he
5.
might be top. I think Dylan
Top
Raiola
five.
is top 5.
Top 5.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
Shadur, Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers,
Dylan Gabriel.
Gabriel's top 10. Yeah, I don't.
But
He might be
Jackson,
I think Dylan Raiola was better than
You could
Shadir.
say Jackson Dart, but he's in Lane
Yeah.
Kiffin's Old Miss system. That makes everybody look better.
Yeah, but this kid's special. But he's a
Special.
freshman. I know it's 2 games, but you know how good he's going to be? You
He's
can't
gonna
get
be
drafted until your junior year. You know how good he's going to be his junior and senior year? Or junior year, rather? Oh, my God. That's going to be scary. Nebraska's going to be a college football playoff contender for the next 3 years.
Like, I said they were going to go 10-2 when I made a pre-prediction. This was before. This is in August. I said they would go 10-2. That doesn't seem that crazy right now.
No, it doesn't.
Now, even if they lose to Ohio State 11-1, you got to play USC. You have to play Wisconsin at home though. Then you have to play Iowa, who just lost. I mean, USC on the road's tough.
They could be USC.
Dude, even 10-2 in Dylan Raiola's first year. Think about the expectations for next year. I mean,
my God.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm so excited about this team, but like Nebraska back in the 2000s, back in the 90s, this team was unbelievable. Like you just want like new and like better. Obviously, like Saban's retired, so like college football has opened up so much. You just need like these newer, better teams. 12-team playoff now. You don't know exactly what's gonna happen. I mean, is it crazy to say Nebraska's going to the college football playoff? Maybe
a little bit, but
Maybe.
I don't know if crazy is the right word. You're pushing it.
I'm pushing it, they might make it.
I'd stick with it. I mean, if you have them going 10-2 for preseason.
I want to see them beat Ohio State.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Hey, I'm an
I would
Ohio
love to
State
see
guy, but like I respect it. Like I get the hype about it. I get the hype about Nebraska and Dylan Raiola.
I think it's still a little bit too early to say that, and even if they are undefeated, it still might be a little bit too early because it is their first year, and Ohio State has everybody coming back. But hey, you never know. It's not like
I don't
Urban's the
think so.
coach there. It's Ryan Day. You know, Ryan Day, he sometimes loses some big
He
games.
sometimes does.
I don't know.
I mean, Dylan Raiola, though, the real question is he going to stay in Nebraska after this year? That's the real question. Is he going to stay at that type of school? Or is he going to go to Georgia? Or is he
No,
going to go
he's
to
not going to
Michigan?
transfer.
I mean, he went there in the first place for a reason to build a culture.
If
I don't know why
if
he
they
leave.
go 11-1 or 10-2, and even if they miss the playoff, he knows like they're gonna be legit.
Oh,
And he's gonna stay.
He's going to make the playoffs at least 1 year where he's there.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, Nebraska, hop on the train with me, boys. I mean, I'm hopping on it. Eat some corn with me on the way.
Okay. All right.
Boise State and Oregon. This will be the last game we go to before we head on to week 3, and then we obviously got the NFL. I mean, 37-34. Oregon's kind of scary. A lot, like I talked about. People think Oregon's going to win the Big Ten. I mean, is it crazy to say Nebraska might be better than them? I don't know. Maybe not quite yet. But I don't know. I don't really know how good this team is. I think Ohio State would kill them right now. They have to play them in a few weeks. This team has to get better. Their defense is looking like a Pac-12 defense right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously hard to switch over. I mean, Dan Lannon, he's phenomenal on offense, and his offense will get going, but man, their defense, they need to get better. How do you guys feel about Oregon right now?
Honestly, just by looking at them in the Pac-12 last year, their defense still hasn't changed. They gave up 34 points to Boise State, although they are an underrated team this year. And I do think Boise State can make the top 25 this year. I think they could be a 25-24 team this year. But I really think Oregon needs to wake up, and they need to get ready for these big games they got ahead of them. So that's my take on them.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm not impressed. I thought bringing Gabriel into this offense was going to be, maybe not an upgrade from Bo Nix, but I mean on par with it and keep the offense up there.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that. They really did.
That's how it's supposed to be. Dylan Gabriel was really good at Oklahoma, but I mean Oregon, like you said, they need to wake up. 24-14 over Idaho and then 37-34 over Boise State. That's not a top 10
They
team.
have to go to Oregon State next week. That's a rivalry game.
This does not look like a Big Ten winner. This does
And
not
then,
look like a school that can win the Big Ten.
10-12 Ohio State Oregon, which is
Where's the
circled on everybody's calendar.
Yeah, I got Ohio State by
I
2
got-
touchdowns.
I do too.
I mean, Oregon. I mean, I have Ohio State right now. I mean, but then again, Ohio State hasn't played like they've played 2 FCS teams.
Right.
But I would still take them. I mean, Oregon has some time. They got it. Their defense needs to get better. And I don't know. I don't know how this I don't know how this O line is gonna hold up on that Ohio State game. But they have 3 weeks to prepare. We'll see how they play against Oregon State. Now, if they lose to Oregon State, that's it. Not going to win the Big Ten. But yeah, got a lot of work to do, but still early in the year. We'll talk about a few games, then we'll go into the NFL. But week 3, I forgot to mention Boston College. Boston College 2-0, but we'll start them off in week 3. Boston College against Missouri. This game is at Missouri. 12:45 start. It's on the SEC Network. I don't know why it's at 12:45. That's a very, very odd start. I mean, this BC offensive line has been really good in the ACC. How is it going to hold up in SEC play? I don't know. I feel like Missouri is going to win. I don't know. This is Boston College's first test of the year.
It is.
I really hope they win.
It's a really big test. Anytime you go against an SEC school like that, a top 10 team in the country, it's really tough. Like I said, I want to see that real college football atmosphere back here in Boston. I want it to be at Boston College. It's the only place it can be if we want that real college football over here. So this is a game that they need to win if they want that to happen, or at least keep it within 2 touchdowns. Keep it a game into the second half. Do I think that's going to happen? No. I think it's Missouri, Luther Burden, SEC team. I just hope we can keep it within 15 to 20,
Yeah.
2 or 3 scores.
This is my take. They have the best receiver in the country, Missouri. Missouri is a powerhouse this year. This is probably one of the best teams they ever had. And I think BC's going to compete with them, though. I think it should be a 10 to 14 point game. I can't believe I'm even saying that, but I think they're going to compete with them. I think Bill O'Brien's a great coach. I think Castellanos been playing phenomenal. And I think they're going to find a way to compete. I think the 4th quarter, Missouri sweeps away though. That's my take on this.
Yeah, I think I obviously want to take Boston College, but it's way too early. Just I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I think it's going to be within 7 to 14 points. I mean, that would be really, really good for them. You only lose by 14 points to an SEC team. That's really good for ACC play. I got a weird feeling. I mean, Miami's really good, but I got a weird feeling Syracuse and Boston College is going to be the ACC championship this year.
That will be.
I don't know. I got a weird feeling about that. I don't know how you guys feel, but Kyle McCord, Thomas Castellanos.
Kyle McCord looked good. If you just look at the stat line, that's all you need to see. He had a really good game, but maybe that's not all you need to see. Who did they play? Syracuse. Who were they against?
They beat.
They played Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was
That's
ranked.
a good
win.
opponent. That's a good opponent, and that's a really good game by Kyle McCord. I just don't understand how that happened because he's kind of what was holding Ohio State back last year. If you look at it, I mean, if anything was holding them back. So
Syracuse and BC for ACC championship, I disagree. It should be the University of Miami. They're gonna be there, but I don't know who they're gonna play. That's my thing. I don't know. I'm guaranteeing.
Miami always has these slip ups. They're kind of like Notre Dame. They'll lose like a dumb game here or there.
Yeah, but this year they have an easier schedule.
If
they do it this year, they're never gonna make it back there. This is their year to make the ACC championship. They're gonna make it, and I don't know who they're gonna play. honestly, I might take BC right now. I'm not even joking. Or Syracuse. I don't know. Because Georgia Tech, they
Georgia
just
Tech's
lost.
probably eliminated.
Florida State,
State's eliminated.
forget about them. And Clemson, I mean, I don't even think Clemson will make it there. Maybe Clemson. Maybe Clemson and Miami. Maybe. Maybe those two teams, but we'll see. Still got a long way to go. And,
What last game? I think we're going to talk about the Patriots next. I think we do have to talk about that. Alabama, Wisconsin. We talked about it earlier in the show. Just predictions. Who do you think's going to win?
Alabama.
I'm going to take Bama by 2 touchdowns.
Same.
All right, you know what? I'm going to go out on the hinge here. You guys are both taking Bama. Give me Wisconsin. That environment, tough environment to play in. Alabama didn't look very good.
How you feeling about Milroe right now?
I don't know. Doesn't look too good. You know? I don't know.
I'll tell you, he's pretty good in the video
I feel like he's going to bounce back, but not 100% sure. But, and then obviously we got Friday, Arizona and Kansas State, another top 25 game. But we'll move on. We talked a lot about college football. So we'll move on to the NFL. That's week 2 and week 3 of college football. Jack, you can lead this segment if you want. Or RG, whatever.
All right. So, obviously, NFL week 1 was yesterday. Patriots won. The Patriots beat the Cincinnati Bengals, and I think the money line was like Cincinnati was maybe minus 300, so it was a big underdog. But they got it done. Brissett, he got the job done. The offense was really led by Ramondre Stevenson. He had a pretty good game behind that O-line. Dare I say, the running game, the offensive line, the receivers, it wasn't as bad. I mean, I don't know. The receivers weren't very good. But Ramondre Stevenson, 25 carries for 120 yards and a touchdown. That's almost 5 yards per carry. He looked pretty good. Jacoby Brissett, he didn't really have to do much because, Burrow didn't do much. And they couldn't get anything really going on the ground. Jamar Chase was limited. T. Higgins didn't play. So, one thing I'll say is that I'm in my survivor pool, everybody picked the Bengals. Except me. Not everybody.
Yeah.
If it was everybody, I would be a lot richer right now. But it's $25 to enter. I think there's 50 people in, so the winner wins like $1,400, maybe a little bit less. But half the pool picked the Bengals, and I picked the Saints, and obviously the Saints win. So how it goes is you can pick one team per week to win. You have to pick one team per week, but you can't pick that team again. So I didn't want to use my Bengals pick because the Bengals are obviously a really good team, especially later in the season. So I picked the Saints because I thought who's gonna lose to the Panthers, and surely it wasn't the Saints. That was brutal.
That was a blowout.
Yeah, but we'll stick on the topic of the Patriots and the Bengals. Really good defensive job. It looks like a Bill Belichick coach team. This Gerard Mayo head coach team. So, I mean, that's a good thing.
I mean, the defense looks really good. Forced some fumbles. Had a few interceptions. Obviously, Gerard Mayo, he's a defense guy. I mean, his offense needs so much work. But I'll say this, and we had a bunch of these games last year when it would come down to the wire, and we couldn't win. So to win a game like that, it's kind of big for us. It really is.
Huge.
Guys, we're 1-0. We're leading the AFC East. I don't know how long we can say that for. We have to play the Seahawks next week.
It's a great way to start the culture of Gerard Mayo, though. It's a great way.
I mean, I don't know. I was watching it with the boys. James, Marcus, Sam. They still think this is like one of the only wins we could get. I mean, hey guys, just believe. Let's believe. You just never. Hey, listen, we beat the Bengals. Bengals, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. This team was in the Super Bowl a few years ago. It was a pretty sloppy game, but is it crazy to say we might beat the Seahawks next week? We're at home, maybe.
I don't think it's like absolutely.
I don't know. Are we gonna be 2-0, boys? Maybe.
Okay, but let me say something real quick. First of all, the Bengals at the beginning of the season are horrible. We know this. We know they're not good at the beginning of the season. Number 2, T. Higgins was out. Number 3, Jamar Chase was frustrated he didn't get his contract. He wasn't trying out there as much.
Those are 3 big truths.
Still gonna go out there and play football and not forget
Absolutely.
about
Well,
that
who's
stuff.
pouting and whining?
Dude, how about the Patriots and everybody in this fan base saying we're gonna suck, and then
We are gonna suck.
We go out. Dude, you're a Cowboys fan. I don't want to hear it.
They're gonna suck.
We go out and win this game.
Oh, Pete.
Let's
What-
go, man.
you see-
We're going to the playoffs.
you
How do we
see-
say that? What if we go to the playoffs?
Oh, please.
We're 1-0, guys.
Listen,
Come on.
Listen.
those three truths are very big truths. Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the past few years have come out slow, come out sloppy. T. Higgins was injured, not playing. Jamar Chase was very limited. They held him to 6 yards and 62 yards on 6 catches though. Like, you got to give credit where credit is due to the Patriots defense. It's not easy to stop Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but those are three truths that make it easier for the Patriots to win. But regardless, it's a hard-nosed, tough win. Brand new head coach, way to set the culture, especially with all these with all these negative outlooks of the season. Starting off with a tough, hard-nosed win, what better? What better? It's a great way, and I think now looking at it, who knows? Maybe they could beat the Seahawks next week. The Seahawks are a team.
I think they can.
The Seahawks are a
Really?
team with talent, but they're not a team with they're not a powerhouse. They are absolutely not a powerhouse. They're definitely a team that's prone to losing games.
I actually have the Patriots beating the Seahawks next week. And I like the Seahawks too. They're my second favorite team. But Patriots are one, obviously. But I think the Patriots are going to beat the Seahawks next week. I told everyone this. The Seahawks have to travel across the country. So this is a 1 p.m. game Eastern time. This is like a 10 a.m. game for them. They're going to be exhausted. Okay? Traveling across the country is no joke. And this is why I think the Patriots are going to beat them. The defense is going to step up. I think Geno Smith's terrible. He's not a good QB. I don't care what you guys say. I've been watching this guy play for the past few years. He's not good.
He's mid.
Okay? He's not good.
He's not.
He's
I'm not a
not
huge
good.
fan, but he's not like.
He's not good.
I'm not a huge fan, but I mean, he can move. He can throw the ball.
He'll have one of his special games here and there. That's how Geno Smith is. He'll have one of his elite games. Against the Cowboys last year was one of them. That was one of his elite games last year. And I think they lost that game. So the elite game didn't really win the game for him. But I'm not a Geno Smith guy at all. I want a different QB in Seattle. But we'll save that for another day.
Now, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But say we beat the Seahawks. Then we beat the Jets.
No.
No. Just think about it for a second, though. We're 3-0. Now what are people going to say? Whoa. Think about that just for a second.
Well, this is an
We beat
alternate
the
reality.
Seahawks, we beat the Jets.
This is an alternate reality.
Now,
we're talking
I
about.
think what's going to happen is we beat the Seahawks, and then we lose the next two against the Jets and the 49ers. Then we're 2-2, and now it's like, okay.
back
but-
to reality.
I don't know. I'm excited about this season now.
I don't blame
We're
you.
1-0.
Like, exactly.
Nobody
it
thought
sets
we
the
were gonna win
culture.
that game.
It sets the
Nobody
tone.
did.
Because listen, the Patriots play good, but Cincinnati has a lot of problems right now going on, chemistry especially. They have a lot of issues going on right now in that organization. So I'm not surprised they beat them. Now I'm really not. And me and my dad picked them in the survival pool twice, but we do 3 teams. So 2 of them were Cincinnati, but we picked Seattle in one of them. We probably should pick Seattle in all of them, to be honest, but. Oh well, we're still alive and won, so that's all we care about. We're still alive, but I mean, the Bengals. Like, I should have knew better, but this Bengals team, like, I mean, it's one game, and they don't have Joe Mixon anymore. I don't know why you think they were making the Super Bowl. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You think Zach Moss and Chase Brown are going to be running backs that could be in the Super Bowl? Really?
T. Higgins and Jamar
No,
Chase and
no.
Joe Burrow.
They have no running game
Who
at all.
cares about a running game?
What? They don't have any running game. What are you talking about?
Whoa.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, you can have weapons and still make the Super Bowl.
No,
Don't
you
you feel
can't.
it?
You need a running game. You need a running attack. Listen, I don't even know how many yards does Zach Moss have in that game. You know what? Let's pull it up right now. Let's pull it up.
He had
Let's pull it up.
He had 9 carries for 44 yards.
Prove my point. How many yards did Chase Brown have?
11.
Okay, maybe
Wait,
you're right.
wait,
Oh,
wait,
okay.
wait.
You're
So
right
they-
about the running
So
game.
they have
You're right about the running game.
55 yards rushing. Ramondre Stevenson had 120 yards. He had more than double the yards in both of those running backs combined. It's an issue in Cincinnati. They don't have a running back. They lost Joe Mixon, and we'll get to Joe Mixon later.
The Bengals were 4-11 on third down yesterday. Last year that would have ranked near the bottom of the league. You're not going to get that every week from the Bengals, but when it makes sense when you think about it. Like, yeah, they don't have the rushing attack that they've had in previous years. T. Higgins was injured. Jamar Chase was limited. Joe Burrow always comes out slow. The Patriots are a good defense. Like they're a solid defense. They played solid defense and they won the game. Tough, hard nosed win. Like credit to them. But when you look at it, it did make sense, and this is a reason. Like in a survival pool, the Bengals were a bad pick this week. It's a bad matchup. Due to all those factors. So, like it makes sense. But do I think the Bengals are, cooked? No, because they're gonna get T Higgins back. They're gonna get into the rhythm. I'd imagine the running attack's gonna get better than that. But like I said, the Patriots are a good defense. Like this was a good opportunity for the Patriots to play a struggling offense with a not so good defense. I mean, it's the perfect matchup for New England, who doesn't have a great offense, but defense is their strong suit. So
I mean, I'm looking at these stats right here, and Joe Mixon's a big loss for this team, and it's gonna show the rest of the season. After this game, yes, the Bengals usually struggle, but is Jamar Chase gonna want to play there? He's very frustrated there. If honestly, I mean, it's very hard to trade a guy like that, but if you can get a first-round pick for him, might be worth it. I'm sorry. Like, if he's not going to give you 100%, like, you got to consider it, man. I don't know.
I still just think that they're going to get Chase. Burrow and Chase are such a special connection that I think they're going to get that back together. They're going to pay Chase. They're going to bring Higgins back. They've never had a dominant rushing attack. Joe Mixon hasn't been the best running back in a few years. Their offensive line hasn't been crazy good. Even when they went to the Super Bowl, like it wasn't based upon the rushing attack. I think as long as Burrow, Chase, and Higgins are there and everything else is serviceable and going as far as Burrow, Chase, and Higgins will bring them, I think the Bengals are still going to be a playoff team. Like, we still see these Bengals come out and compete with teams like the Chiefs, teams like the Bengals, teams like the Bills, teams like the Ravens. Like, they come out and compete with them. And it ends up fine, even though the rushing attack's still never elite. But I get what you're saying. Like, they're not. I don't have them in the Super Bowl this year. I think they're worse than previous years.
They're not the same team, which is what I'm trying to get at.
I'm trying to find that middle ground though, because yeah, I agree. They're not a Super Bowl favorite like they usually are, but I think they're still a playoff team when they get Burrow, Chase, and Higgins back. Like remember, T. Higgins wasn't playing yesterday. They always start the season out slow. Those factors, Chase was extremely limited. Like they're gonna get Chase and Higgins back into the rhythm, right?
Well, we'll see. Who knows?
You got a point.
Who knows? I mean, if Chase doesn't get that contract, I'm telling you, he's not going to want to be there.
Yeah.
He wants his money.
Speaking of a phenomenal running game, how about the Lions running game on Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yo,
They went down the field in overtime, and they ran the ball and they won the game.
The Lions
I've
went
never
nowhere.
ever seen that in a while.
I saw some people were concerned about the Lions. I don't know if it's because of the
bad
receiving room.
call by Sean McVay. Should have called a timeout way earlier.
When was this?
That defense was so tired. This was an overtime last night.
Definitely should have.
Yeah.
I actually forgot the rules. I thought the Rams were going to get the ball. I forgot
Yeah,
this was in playoffs.
Just playoffs.
Wait, so the overtime rules, right, for the season, the first person it scores a touchdown wins.
Yes.
All right.
But it's different in the playoffs.
Yeah. What's the playoffs? Each team gets a possession.
You got to get a chance, yeah. So it's the Josh Allen rule. Because
obviously.
So
it's a touchdown.
But yeah, the Lions, like a lot of people were like concerned about them, saying, "Oh, they're not going to be as good." They still have Montgomery and Gibbs. They still have an elite offensive line, Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson. Where did you guys think this running game was going to go? And then Jameson Williams is emerging as a wide receiver 2 next to St. Brown. I mean, Khalif Raymond's not the best wide receiver 3, but most teams don't have a tight end like Sam Laporta. Yeah, I think they could trade for another receiver down the line later in the season, but I mean, the running game is still here. Montgomery and Gibbs is the perfect pairing behind this offensive line. I love it. I think the Lions are still Super Bowl contenders. But the Rams, I don't know. I came into this game thinking it was going to be a high scoring game because I'm high on both of these offenses, but I'm not high on both of these defenses. But I mean, both teams, they dogged it out defensively. Like, it was a defensive game for the most part, which surprised me. But I mean, dare I say, the Rams defense kind of got exposed late in that game by that Lions running game? I kind of think so. Puka Nacua got injured.
Is he out for the year?
Nah, but he's an IR candidate. So 4 to 6 weeks. That's brutal. I don't love the Rams this year.
So you don't? Well, I'll say Cooper Kupp is back.
I mean, I love Stafford and Kupp, but
I mean, he played phenomenal after when they came back in that game and took the lead. Oh my God, some of the catches he was making, he is so good at football. People forget about him. I feel like
Yeah, I can't.
they
I can't
really
lie.
do.
I
He's
can't
really
lie.
good at football.
That Stafford Cup connection, you can't take it away from them.
No.
Like it's always going to be there with McVay at the head coach. But I just don't love them this season. You know, like the defense, it's not my favorite. You lose Aaron Donald, the defense is going to struggle. But Tre'Davious White didn't look awful last night. I thought that was a weakness, but he didn't look awful. So I guess it's in McVay we trust. I can't argue with
The
that.
corner for the Rams, Durant, he played good last night too.
Oh yeah, Kobe
Kevin
Durant.
Yeah.
Hey, if they have Kobe, it's kind of crazy that's Kobe because, Kobe Durant. If Tre'Davious White and Kobe Durant can form a good secondary back there, I mean it's gonna look better for the Rams. But you lose Aaron Donald. It's like, I don't know. I mean this is a rivalry. Teams play up to their competition in rivalries. I think the Rams maybe going a little bit of slide. They have to face the Cardinals in Arizona next week. The Cardinals offense looked good.
They did, yeah.
And then they get the 49ers, and then they get the Bears, and then they do have a tough schedule because then they get the Packers. Hopefully for them, Jordan Love isn't back. But let's talk about that Cardinals-Bills game. Kyler Murray. I mean, the Cardinals, they put up 28 points on the Bills' offense. They were continuously marching down the field. But, I mean, they didn't run the ball particularly well. I think it was a lot of Kyler. I think Kyler running kept that offense in that game. So, but Marvin Harrison Jr., something to talk about. He finished with 1 catch for 4 yards. A lot of fantasy managers are very upset about that.
Yeah,
I get.
He's on my team.
But hey, hold on to him.
It's week 1.
He's
Hold
on
on
our
to
team.
him.
It's week 1. It's fine.
Hold on to Marvin Harrison. Don't
he's a
sell
rookie,
him.
so it's
Don't.
like,
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna have to
Kyle
be.
Murray missed him for a touchdown too. So
He did. And I wasn't. I mean, if you look at his road tree, like he was just running posts and goes. Like he wasn't. They were not getting him involved underneath. And Kyler, a lot of the times, was just looking underneath, not waiting on it to find MHJ downfield.
Yeah.
So I blame it on the coaching. I don't know why they weren't getting MHJ involved. I think they definitely need to.
I think this offense is back though for the Cardinals.
Oh yeah.
I think
they're back.
like it's been a little bit, but this offense looks
Mm-hmm.
really, really good. Obviously, they lost to the Bills, but still put up 29 points. Could have won the game at the end. They're kind of what they. I think they ran out. I don't think they had any timeouts left, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
I watched the end for a little. I honestly forgot that.
Josh Allen clutched up at the end too. He had 4 touchdowns. He had a great game. What did I tell you? I mean, I've told everyone, like, I know the receivers aren't great. I kind of like what they have. I like the little combination of guys between Coleman and Shakir.
I told you, but they're winning the East.
I love the New York Jets. I'm usually the biggest Bills guy, though, so it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I am high on the Jets. But, you have Josh Allen. You have a decent supporting cast. Even if you don't have superstar receivers like he used to, you're going to be really good. You're going to be really good on offense. The defense, did I expect this game to be that close? No, I didn't think that defense was going to let Kyler Murray do that to them. But Josh Allen put up 34 points, albeit on a bad defense. But, hey, Josh Allen's going to Josh Allen.
Josh Allen won them that game yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The Cardinals had a big lead, but Josh Allen put the team on his back.
Absolutely.
Got some rushing touchdowns. He got some guys involved. So, I mean, shout out to Josh Allen
Hey,
for
he
that.
put 4 touchdowns on the board.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Cowboys Browns. Wow. Can't say I expected anything else. I put a parlay. I put a 4-leg parlay. It went for 4. Slight little brag. On my TikTok, I had the Cowboys winning at plus odds. They had the Browns favored, and me as a Cowboys fan looking at it, I was like, this is the exact game that the Cowboys are gonna win. Why were they not favored against Deshaun Watson? He looked terrible. Watson looked brutal, and yeah, the Browns have a good offensive line. They have a good defense, but they're not well quarterbacked. Deshaun Watson, I don't know what happened when he was getting those massages. I don't want to know. He's not the same person. He's not the same quarterback. It's unbelievable.
I don't think he's going to be the same after everything happened.
Dude, he was a
No,
top 3 quarterback in the NFL with Mahomes and Rodgers in 2020. He was that good. He was
just
more than elite.
These players,
He's elite.
Man. They just get all this money and they do stupid stuff.
They absolutely do. He's an interesting guy, to say the least. But I just don't understand. Like this kind of like hurts my brain a little to think, oh wow, Deshaun Watson was really that good, and he's how old? He's not old. He's 28. He's 28 years old. He's supposed to be in his prime.
Yeah.
And you look up Deshaun Watson's name, TMZ: Deshaun Watson facing new SA lawsuit. ESPN: lawsuit accuses Watson of SA in 2020. So there's more allegations coming his way. Tough subject. This guy sucks at football. But I used to be the biggest fan. I have a Watson jersey. This dude was a special quarterback, and it's really sad to see what happened. But
Just the rise and fall.
yeah,
They're winning a championship at Clemson, and then obviously
man, it's so insane.
doing
But
all that.
yeah, but this is the exact type of game the Cowboys were going to win. I don't know why they were not favored. I don't know. This is the same old Cowboys team. Like, we're gonna run the football. Like, but Dak is gonna beat the bad teams. Like, I don't really know how to put it. We're gonna beat the bad teams, and the Browns are kind of in that category. And then when we play the tough teams, it's not gonna go well. And the Browns are not a tough team. So, yeah, that's what I got for the Cowboys. The Jaguars and Dolphins, insane. What a game. The Dolphins end up somehow winning it. Tua didn't, I wasn't particularly impressed by this Dolphins offense, especially early. The Jaguars were up on them early, but I don't know what to think of either of these teams yet. I think both of these teams are going to be competitive, but kind of fraud out at the end. Yeah, Texans and Colts was an interesting game too. C.J. Stroud looked phenomenal. Anthony Richardson looked really good too. He didn't look perfect, but he ran the ball well. He had a few really good throws. Did you guys see those 2 deep balls to Alec Pierce? Like, he was just under a ton of pressure, and he just heaved it and put it right where Alex Pierce needed it. And I think that was, probably over 100 yards between both of those 2 plays. He finished 9 for 19 throwing the football. But he did run well. Jonathan Taylor provided some. Yeah, Alec Pierce, 3 catches for 125 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 40 yards per catch. So yeah, a really, really weird week in the NFL. There's some weird games. Like, I did not think that the Broncos were going to keep it that close with the Seahawks. The Chargers.
Sorry.
No.
And then obviously Tyreek Hill getting arrested outside the stadium.
Wow.
Yeah, that was something.
You were coming home from a flight yesterday, but I did tell the other roommates. Could he turn? That was kind of like Antonio Brown stuff yesterday. I don't know. He better not be turning into Antonio Brown or something.
Who knows?
Dude, you get arrested going to the stadium. I think that's crazy.
It's driving violation, but we don't know what it is.
Listen, I'm not a fan of Tyreek Hill as a person. I don't think I need to elaborate on that. So yeah. I don't know. A lot of people want to defend him sometimes, but I'm just like, dude.
No, he's I don't think he's a good person.
He's crazy.
No, he's a little crazy.
Yeah, but
I want to say something real quick. The Texans game, I think you missed a key point. Joe Mixon, 159 rushing yards. We were talking about the running attack. Are they gonna have running attack this year? 159 yards is no joke. That's a great start for the Texans.
Dude, I think the Texans are legit.
I agree.
Legit. There's that little group of teams in the AFC that I think is just going to be really, really elite. The Texans, the Jets, the Chiefs, and the Ravens. And then I think the Bengals and Bills will have, they'll have some things to say. But those 4 teams are really good. I think the Texans are officially in that tier. Like you just mentioned, I was worried about the rushing game, but Mixon, he looked really good behind that O-line. So dare I say that the Texans are the best team in the AFC. The Colts kept it close with them, but this is a division game, and the Colts are a good team. The Colts are a good team. This AFC is deep. But yeah, dude, Mixon looked good. Stroud, he looked amazing. C.J. Stroud is amazing. I love this guy. He's so good at football. You give him Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. Look out. Really look out for this Texans offense. They might be a record-setting offense, depending on how consistent Mixon can stay, but he looked good. It's just weird because this game was really close, but Anthony Richardson, you look at him statistically, he didn't have the best game. 9 for 19 is not impressive. But he did get up to 234 yards. He didn't turn the ball over. Excuse me. That was wrong. 9 for 19 is not that impressive. I don't know. I don't really know what it was. I guess the Colts are just a collectively good offense. Those 2 plays, those 2 big Alec Pierce plays put points on the board. So, I guess he you get the strengths and weaknesses of Richardson, you deal with them. But they definitely need to work on those weaknesses because I think the Colts would have won the game if, he didn't show those weaknesses. So, yeah.
Well, I'm going to add something real quick. I think Jonathan Taylor had a bad game yesterday.
Yeah, that's what
He's better than that. We know that. He's a superstar running back. He'll bounce back. It's week 1. Michael Pittman had a bad game yesterday. So there's a lot of factors that come into it. It's week 1, division game. The Texans got a big one on the road. It's on to next week,
Mm-hmm.
It's only week 1. I'm not going to judge teams. The only team I'm judging is the Bengals because I don't know what's going to happen with Chase. And the Patriots, how do you let them win at Cincinnati? How do you let that happen? So that's another thing.
Another
Why
game.
not? Because we're 1-0. We're leading the AFC East, all right, guys? Come on.
Hey.
Hey, we're leading the AFC East. Think about that just for a minute.
Now that you're so high on these Patriots, what would you rather have? I'm asking you a question. Would you rather have 6 wins this year or 2 wins this year? Or like 6 to 8 wins, sorry. 6 to 8 wins or 2 to 4 wins this year. What would you rather have? Or you rather them somehow make the playoffs for this team?
We're going to the playoffs, boys. Come on.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. You want to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, of course.
Listen, I always want to win. Don't get me wrong, but we can't win with this team.
How do you know? We just won week 1.
No. We're not being.
Wow, we can't win with this team. That's a valid.
We're not being Kansas City. Forget about that. We're not no chance versus the Chiefs.
All right, it's one game.
Okay. Then you have Buffalo Bills. We're not beating the Buffalo Bills. We're not beating the New York Jets. Okay.
I think we can beat the Jets.
Maybe it's a division game, maybe once, but I don't think in a playoff game we'll beat them. The Jets, Bills, Chiefs, and Houston. The Texans will destroy us. Okay. I'd rather be a bad team this year. Draft an offensive lineman, get a top 5 pick. We don't need to have a top 3 pick because it's gonna be quarterbacks. We don't need a quarterback. We have our quarterback for the future in Drake May. We know this. You need an offensive lineman. You need somebody who can protect Drake May. He is the key to this team. I don't care about this season. I don't want them to win. I don't. I'm sorry.
I agree with you.
I don't want them to win.
That's horrible advice.
It's not horrible. I don't want them to win.
You're not a diehard fan, man.
No, I am
You don't
not a
want them to
diehard
win.
Patriots fan. No, I am not. I'm a diehard Celtics fan, not a diehard Patriots fan. No.
Wow.
I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm not a biased Patriots fan like a lot of people are. Okay?
Hey,
What do you mean biased? I want them to win every game.
I'm on the outside looking in.
That's crazy.
I obviously see both of your points. But this was a trap game for Cincinnati. This was a game that the Patriots kind of had to win. I kind of agree with RG because, I don't know, Brissett didn't look good yesterday. The receivers didn't look good. You guys ran the football well against a really banged-up team. I think those are how really bad teams get their wins.
I want to ask something real quick. You had Austin Hooper as your leading.
That's what I'm saying.
Leading receiver in yards.
Like you
31 yards he had, this guy.
The Bengals are a top-heavy team, and the top of their team was banged up or out. That's how bad teams get their wins against a bad defense like that.
They ran the ball 39 total times. Cincinnati ran it 16 total times, and that's from the coaching. Jerome Mayo absolutely outcoached Zach Taylor yesterday. No question. No question about
Another
that.
game I want to talk about, the Vikings killed the Giants. And, Sam Darnold looked pretty good in this Kevin O'Connell offense.
I was impressed.
This is a Shanahan offense. Sam Darnold has experience in it, and he looked pretty good. Jefferson got a touchdown. Aaron Jones ran the ball well. This is against the Giants, though, and let me tell you, Daniel Jones in the New York Giants offense looked horrible. Horrible. And it's kind of weird because, Daniel Jones is going to get all the hate. Yeah, he's not very good. He's not making anything better. But you watch that game, there's not a single receiver getting open. There's guys running at him. They can't run the football with Devin Singletary behind the awful offensive line. Like, what do you expect? It's not Daniel Jones' fault. He may not be very good. He's not. But it's not his fault.
Why did he get the bag, though? I don't think he's that good.
I'm not defending that, but I respect
quarterback.
No, let me say,
you gotta move on. I mean,
absolutely.
Wait, who's their backup?
Drew Lock, and there was Drew. We want Lock chance. Drowned out by the boos because the boos are really, really loud. But yeah, there definitely was Drew Lock chance. We want Lock. But the thing is you put Locke in there, and it's like he's not going to look that much better because, like, I'm not trying to be the biggest Daniel Jones defender. I'm not, because he makes some weird, ridiculous, terrible plays. But hey, let me tell you, if I was behind that offensive line with these receivers, I would do the same exact thing. Like, sure, Neighbors looked fine, but on a play-to-play basis, dropping back, there's not much available for Daniel Jones to do, and it kind of sucks that he's getting all the blame. I think the Giants should be looked at a lot more seriously. Who runs the Giants? It's Joe Schoen. Yeah, this guy needs a lot of the blame. Like, a lot of the blame. Him and whoever else is responsible for the New York Giants in the front office. Brian Dable, even at this point. Like, these guys are the guys who should be blamed for Daniel Jones' failure, not Daniel Jones, in my opinion. And they gave him a bag. They gave him a 4-year
bag. Why did Dak Prescott get the bag?
Well,
that is insane.
This is a whole
You're
nother
telling me he's now the highest paid NFL player?
Well, yeah.
That is ridiculous. He can't even win a playoff game.
Now,
Oh my God.
obviously, I mean, you look. This is kind of how the quarterback market goes. You're gonna overpay guys, but yeah, I mean, 2-5 in the playoffs since he's here. Not much improvement.
Wait, how much was the contract?
4 years, 240, right?
Yeah, he got $60 million a year.
$60 million a year.
$60 million a year.
But here's where
to
I'm at
go
right
to the
now.
playoffs and lose.
Well,
Not even go to a
But
Super
here's
Bowl.
where I'm at now. Here's the most important part of it. That means
That's
the Cowboys are committed to Dak Prescott. The Cowboys are committed to Dak.
You shouldn't be committed to Dak
No,
Prescott.
I kind of
disagree.
agree. I kind of agree, but at the same time, they're not switching up the coaches. They switched up the head coaches, and everybody was excited. And then they hired Mike McCarthy, who everybody was like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be a joke." I can't blame it on Dak. Like, we get into these big games and nobody's open. Like, yeah, sure, Dak doesn't make it better. He's not Mahomes, but nobody's open, and there's not a lot of protection, and the defense is getting rained on by good offenses, and it's like, the Cowboys are a completely different team against bad teams and good teams, and I've come to the conclusion that it's Mike McCarthy's fault. It's a coaching fault. Like, you can't put a quarterback in a bad offensive system and expect him to execute. Like, that's where I'm at with it. So I like that we're committed to Dak over McCarthy. I really hope McCarthy's gone after this year, because you can't commit to both of them. You can't commit to both of them.
Yeah.
You have to pick. And I like that they picked Dak. Overall, I like that they didn't pick McCarthy because he's in the hot seat. If it doesn't work out this year, he's gone. And you bring in a new head coach. I really stick by this point. If you bring Ben Johnson in from the Lions and give him your head coaching position, Dak Prescott's probably going to look a lot better.
Alright, this is my thing. First of all, I disagree with Pat. I think Dak Prescott is a good QB.
That's a crazy take.
It's not a crazy take.
That's a crazy take.
Can I explain? So I think he's a good QB, and the problem with Dallas is Mike McCarthy. He's the problem. Okay, he's a horrible head coach. Horrible. Okay, and they are missing one wide receiver, and they're missing a running attack, and they're missing a head coach. You fix those three things, they're Super Bowl favorites. I'm telling you.
Is Mike McCarthy a bad coach? Is Jason Garrett a bad coach?
Jason Garrett was a horrible coach. Horrible. I thought he was horrible.
Oh yeah, he was bad too.
They don't hire good coaches.
I think I think Jerry Jones, Dak Prescott.
Jerry Jones, he's brain dead.
Dude,
that's why I told you, man. Bill Belichick, they gotta
yes,
bring him in.
Yes,
maybe,
I don't understand.
Yes, I agree
maybe,
with that.
maybe,
Absolutely, I agree with that.
But who's Belichick going to bring in as the OC?
Well,
because that's the issue. The defense isn't necessarily the issue in Dallas. It's when we get to the playoffs and we get to the big games, we're not scoring.
Josh McDaniels?
Where is he right now?
No, please, no. Please,
why wouldn't you want him as OC?
Please,
Cliff Kingsbury?
Please, no.
He's a Super Bowl winner.
Cliff Kingsbury.
Oh, no.
You know who I bring in?
No,
you guys are gonna think I'm crazy. The coach for USC. That's who I bring in.
Lincoln Riley?
Yes, for an OC.
Maybe,
yes.
dude.
I will bring in Lincoln Riley
I
for
don't
the
know.
OC.
Would that work in Dak Prescott's system though? I don't know.
Listen, you need.
He's such a different quarterback.
Jerry
than
Jones,
like a Kyler and a Baker, and I don't know.
Well, Jerry Jones is the problem because Jerry Jones fired Jason Garrett, who was a problem, and replaced him with another problem in Mike McCarthy. That's the problem.
He has that one lucky Super Bowl win.
We
he had Rodgers on his team.
Exactly. Yo, if the Cowboys hire Ben Johnson as the offensive coordinator, or someone from the Shanahan tree, or Belichick to bring in whoever he wants or whatever. That is what needs to happen. But you brought up Belichick. The only thing I'm thinking is like that Jerry Jones isn't going to hire Belichick. That's a whole ego thing.
Because he should hire Belichick. That's a smart thing to do. But he won't hire Belichick because Belichick shouldn't want too much power.
That's what I'm saying.
And Jerry Jones won't allow Belichick to get that power. That's the problem. So, in my opinion, they need a different coach. We know what's going to happen with the Cowboys. We know they're going to start off 5-0, 6-0, whatever, and then they're going to fall off a cliff. That's what they're going to do. A cliff. You know how Max Kellerman said Brady would fall off a cliff? We know the Cowboys are going to go down that trend too. So we know this, and this is not even an insult. It's the truth. I know you're a Cowboys fan, Jack, and it must be difficult for you to hear this, but it's the truth. You know the Cowboys are going to fall off a cliff this season to the end of the season. We know this.
Well, what I think is going to happen is I don't necessarily think we're going to fall off a cliff, but I think we're going to, let me look at the schedule. So, like, it's all about the schedule because if we play a bad team, we're going to win and we're going to look really good. If we play a good team, it's going to be kind of embarrassing, especially on the road. So we have the Saints next week at home. We're probably going to beat them.
I hope you beat them.
Yeah, we have the Ravens. It's at home. I mean, I think
we know how they are against.
No matter how it goes, no matter how it goes. Then we have the Giants. Then we have the Steelers. So we're probably like 4-1 at that point. Then we have the Lions at home. I mean, regardless, whatever that happens. Then we play October 27th when we play the 49ers. We're gonna get killed. We're gonna get murdered. And then we put the Eagles and the Texans. Like that's when the season's gonna fall apart. But it's not gonna fall apart because we have the Panthers and the Bucks and the Commanders and the Giants after all those
are
games.
free wins.
Exactly.
Those are free wins.
Exactly, but this happens every year. That's how we get our wins. That's how we get our success in free wins.
Listen, last year you guys were under 500 against above 500 teams.
Every year,
you can't beat good teams.
That's my point.
And you know what's going to happen in the playoffs. We know this. Even if they win the division, you can give the Cowboys the 3 seed. You can give them the 5 or 6 seed. They're going to lose. No, they might win a wild card game, but they're not making it past the NFC divisional round. We know this.
As a Cowboys fan, do you like Dak Prescott? Be honest.
So it's a complicated question. It's not just a yes or no because I want to say no because of what I've seen in the playoffs the past few years, but I want to say yes because I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the coaching issue. So here, if we bring in Mike Vrabel as our head coach, we know what he did to the Titans offense in 2019, 2020, running the ball with Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. He made Tannehill look really good. I think that would be a great hire. I think Bill Belichick would be a great hire if the Eagle Clash didn't get involved. I think Ben Johnson is the perfect guy. You bring in the way he's made Jared Goff operate for the Lions. That's exactly what we need. We need a head coach who, in the big games against the big teams, is going to make receivers available for Dak Prescott. Give Dak Prescott a chance to execute the offense and bring the Cowboys to the Super Bowl. That's what we need. Mike McCarthy, and I knew it from the second we hired him. I was like, no, this is not the guy. Jason Garrett was the issue. And we hired him the second. I swear to God, I can probably show you like proof. I was so upset over that hire. It was a terrible hire. I wanted Lincoln Riley, or I wanted somebody like that, like someone who's going to make the quarterback look good. Mike McCarthy is not that guy. Mike McCarthy was a guy whose offense looks good because of the quarterback.
Yeah, but it's also so hard. Like I would maybe think Lincoln Riley would be a good NFL coach, but you just never know. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, he had obviously that really one good year with Kyler, and then they kind of fell off. So I don't know. It's just hard to. Can college coaches really be good in the NFL?
Trust me,
it's hard.
I don't want Cliff Kingsbury. I do not want Cliff Kingsbury. The
Cliff,
Commanders can keep him.
Cliff Kingsbury is he's a good offensive guy.
Yeah, but
he's a very good offensive.
He's an offensive mind.
Yes,
he's good offensively.
He can't build a defense.
But dude, if you watch the way Kyler Murray was operating in Arizona under Cliff Kingsbury, it was a bunch of hitches. It was like the same thing. It was so predictable, and it hit a wall. It hit a wall.
It was backyard football. I mean, it was
backyard football.
That's what legit, like Johnny Manziel said about Cliff Kingsbury.
That's what I'm saying.
It's backyard football, running around, like doing whatever. Like,
and you know who could do that well is Kyler Murray. But when you get to a point where you're playing the Rams in the playoffs in 2021, we saw what happens, and maybe it'll work well in Washington to develop Jaden Daniels, but it's gonna hit a point where it's like, this isn't the offense you want to win a Super Bowl. Man, but that's a whole nother conversation. I'm not going to get into.
Well, I want to add
Washington.
one more thing before I want to talk about Jay and Daniels. I want to add one more thing real quick about the Cowboys. You guys really think they would get a coach like Ben Johnson? You think they can get a Bill Belichick and Mike Vrabel? I think Mike Vrabel will be a very good fit for them because I think he's looking for a coaching's job right now. I think he'll be good. He got the Titans to be good, but you need a running attack under him now. You have Ezekiel Elliott as your starting running back right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously,
So you guys need to free up some cap space. You guys need to make some changes. But we know what's going to happen with the Cowboys. I'm not impressed with the win. I'm sorry.
It's a Jerry Jones issue from the top, but I mean, so it's weird because I can blame guys like Mike McCarthy and Dan Quinn and Dak Prescott and whoever, but at the end of the day, Jerry Jones is the guy who wants these guys in power. He could have hired Lincoln Riley. He could have hired a bunch of guys, and Lincoln Riley's just the name I'm throwing out there because I remember the hiring process. Mike McCarthy was the last guy we wanted hired, and he hired him. It's an ego thing. He wants the credit. He wants the credit. He wants to be the reason why the Cowboys win, and he wants to be the guy in power. You hire a yes man like Mike McCarthy who only looked good because of Aaron Rodgers. It's the perfect fit for him. But it's also the perfect fit for losing. It's the perfect fit for losing football.
Well, you have an owner who only cares about himself. It's the truth.
Yeah.
And, he just cares about the stadium. He wants his money, and that's it. He doesn't give a shit about, the players on the team. I'm just being honest. Like, he's a terrible owner. Yeah. Terrible. But anyways, let's move on from the Cowboys. I could talk about them all day, but...
Dak Prescott isn't good. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
The last thing I'll say about him, I don't care about owners, coaches. Dak Prescott is not a
real
good
quick,
quarterback.
I want to get your real opinion on this. What's your definition of good? Who's a good quarterback?
What are we talking about? Elite or good? Because in the NFL right now, what I've been watching, I don't know. There's like not many elite QBs. Not many elite.
Patrick Mahomes,
Josh Allen,
Joe Burrow,
Allen,
Lamar,
C.J. Stroud.
That's five.
That's five. Herbert.
Nope. Not yet.
I went for Herbert.
You don't think Herbert's a good quarterback?
We're talking about elite quarterbacks right now.
Elite.
I'm not saying good. There's a different tier.
Okay,
there's a different tier than elite and good.
Okay, so are those
AR-15 soon? Not yet.
But we can't put them in.
So five. That's it.
Five elite quarterbacks?
Jalen Hurts I have
but Jordan
good.
Love. Herbert and Love? No.
No. I'll put them good. Not elite.
Rodgers, Stafford, Hurts.
Good. I'm telling
Lawrence.
Those are good. Those are good. That's a different tier.
Is he good?
Good.
Is Kyler good?
Yeah, good.
Cousins. All right.
He stinks.
All right. Forget about the rest.
Awful.
All right. We ended at Kyler. You're not putting Dak in that tier with Hurts, Goff, Kyler.
Yes, I'll put him in that tier.
I'll put him in good.
I'll put him in good.
Put him in good.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can a guy? All right. So we covered the five elite quarterbacks. Can a Herbert, a Love, a Rodgers,
Hurts.
a Stafford, a Hurts, a Lawrence, Dak, Goff, Kyler, can they win a Super Bowl? Kyler, Goff, Dak, Lawrence, Hurts.
Yes, they can if you're in the right system.
So Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Hurts made it to a Super Bowl. So what's holding?
Purdy made it to.
Purdy made it to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
So guys like Tua, Kyler, Goff, Dak, Lawrence.
No, and I'm going to tell you why. Even with Lamar Jackson, he won't win a Super Bowl, and I'm going to tell you why. When the game's on the line, if you watch into that Chiefs game, he missed two open guys to tie the game. He always fold in a clutch situation in the last minute or two in the fourth quarter. He does everything phenomenal besides that point. And I'm going to criticize him until they beat the Chiefs because they had a perfect opportunity to win that game. They should have won that game because they were getting that 2-point conversion if we got that touchdown in. But you had Zay Flowers. There was nobody in the area. And you missed him by a mile. Then you missed Likely, who was wide open. And then you overthrow him again, and Likely almost saves the game for them. So, I mean, that last drive by Jackson was disappointing. Did
he overthrow Likely, or was it a tough play?
I think he overthrew him. It's my opinion.
Obviously, those two plays before.
The Zay Flowers one, there's no excuse for it.
Maybe he thought Flowers was gonna sit. It's week one.
It's week one, but he missed him by a mile. And he was wide open. No one was near him. you got to make those throws. There's no excuse. Mahomes makes that throw. And this is what, I still have Lamar elite because I don't find many QBs in the NFL elite right now. I'll name you 5. That's it. I'm not giving you any other QB.
So is Lamar Jackson an elite quarterback? He's got 2 MVPs.
He does have 2 MVPs.
When you watch the Ravens,
Yeah.
he's the reason they're such a good team.
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, it's the end of game situations where he needs to put the ball in the end zone one more time.
Well, let me put it this way. I don't know who I'd rather have, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson. And to be honest, I think Lamar's in a much better situation. I think Josh Allen has to do way more work for the team. I don't know who I'd rather have out of those two. I really don't. I think it's close. I think they're both very good QBs. At end of the games, I don't know who I would take at end of the game. I don't know if I want either of them. But, I don't know. It's just with the Ravens, you have Derrick Henry in that backfield. How about you use them more? I don't think they used them enough, in my opinion.
I want to talk about that. So Lamar is a shotgun quarterback.
Yes.
So you can utilize him as a quarterback runner. It's the best way. Lamar's a shotgun quarterback. It's that simple. Derrick Henry's an under center running back, right?
Yep.
So they're formation wise, they don't fit the best together. So
No, they don't.
they're gonna have to figure that out between do they want to run a lot of pistol formation? Do they want to run? Because it was kind of like when they're under center with Derrick Henry in the backfield, they're running the football. When they're shotgun, a lot of time they have Justice Hill in the backfield, they're passing the football. It was very predictable. They're gonna have to find that right balance of how to use Henry and what personnel and formations they want to be in. Or obviously they're gonna be in 21 personnel a lot, 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. But regardless, it's about the formations and how they're gonna use Henry. They're gonna have to figure out that perfect balance. Do we want to be in pistol or shotgun, or because you can't just put Lamar Jackson under center. But you also want that for Derrick Henry, so it's weird. I think they're going to be in a lot of pistol formation. They're going to have to figure that out.
Well, this is my issue with them. Lamar Jackson ran the ball 16 times. Derrick Henry ran the ball 13 times. Derrick Henry was probably the best running back in football a few years ago. This is the best offensive line he ever had. How about you use them? Use them. Why do you get them? Why will you bring a Derrick Henry in there if you're not going to use them?
Well, I wouldn't say this offensive line is on the level of the early days, the Titans 5 years ago.
Well, I'm saying better than Tennessee.
Better than last year.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Better than Tennessee's O-line. I'm saying for Henry. I'm not saying for Jackson.
Okay.
I'm saying for Derrick Henry, this is one of the better offensive lines he had in recent memory. That's what I'm saying. For Ravens, yes, the offensive line decreased. But Derrick Henry never really had a good offensive line. So that's what I'm trying to get at. Use them. I don't get why you wouldn't use them. 13 times you run the ball with Derrick Henry? Come on. You got to run the ball at least 18 to 20 times with Derrick Henry. There's no excuse there, in my opinion. But it's just my opinion. I don't know. The Ravens got to figure it out, though. Mark Andrews was a disappearance, too. I was disappointed with him. Likely took all the catches, but
I'll be honest, I didn't even watch that game.
I watched that whole game. And,
it was a good game, dude.
Lamar
was he had a great game, but at the end, it's just
he folded again.
Yeah, it's just can he put the ball in the end zone as a passer?
And there's one thing I want to point out real quick about that game. There was 4 illegal formations the Chiefs had, and they didn't call any of them. And then the Ravens get it, and they call it. The Chiefs get every single call by the refs too. You gotta realize the refs love the Kansas City Chiefs. You know Mahomes will get most of the calls. We know this. And this is why I think they're going to win the Super Bowl again. They get the refs on their side, too. I don't like to judge football of referees, but watching that game, I was like, what is this? That you call a legal formation on the Ravens. How about the Chiefs? They're doing the same thing. Come on. You got to call on both sides, not just one side. It's my take on that game.
Okay. One more. Are we almost at 7:30? Yeah, we can wrap unless you guys.
I'm down for whatever, to be honest.
I'll say one more thing. I don't know if you guys were looking at the group chat the other day, but Josh was like, I went for a run at halftime.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when I said this?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, dude, you're seriously not watching it? I'm like, yeah, it's because the real football happens on Saturdays, and everybody got mad. But hey, that's still how I stand. College football right now is better than the NFL. I want to clip that because I want to make a clip tonight, and I want to see if it goes viral. But I just wanted to say that.
I don't disagree with you.
I
like it. I love it.
Well, I'm going to say this about college football compared to NFL. the referees are way less biased in college football. In NFL, we know what the Chiefs. We know the refs are gonna favorite them. We know this. You got Taylor Swift, whatever, Kelsey, and all that. But we know how the refs are towards the Chiefs. We know this. And I don't like to be that guy who says this, but the refs definitely gonna help the Chiefs in some way.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just. I mean, like we've talked about this, but it's just like I feel like there's so much money flowing around in the NFL. Like I feel like obviously like sometimes it's a little bit about too much money, and college has kind of turned into that with NIL. But I don't know. I feel like they play with more heart. I mean, that's kind of a crazy take, but like.
No, not really.
I don't know. We've had this discussion before. I just kind of wanted to clip this tonight and see if it goes viral on TikTok. So.
Yeah,
but
the NFL is. Yeah, there's
no,
a lot of money.
the NFL is good though, and I bashed it a little bit, but I mean, the games I watched, I was watching that Lions-Rams game, phenomenal game. Patriots was good. But I don't know, just trying to defend the college football world because I don't feel like they get a lot of love. You know, I feel like everyone's like NFL. It's like, buddy, like we get it.
I feel you.
Should we talk about the Red Sox for 5 minutes? Just because it is September.
I'm good. I don't know them, but go for it.
Oh no,
RG, I know. All right, so
I have too much to say about them.
it's September, guys. We're 4 games back. They're playing the Orioles right now. They're down 1-0.
Oh god.
Or I don't know if it's 1-0. It is 1-0. Is there a chance? I keep watching them. I'm trying to believe. I feel like it's over, but I don't know. They're 4 games back. They don't have that many games left. They really don't.
Let me say this: if they're 3 or 4 games back when they play Minnesota, there's a chance. If they're 5 or 6 games back when they play Minnesota, there's no chance. So they have to be 3 or 4 games back when they play Minnesota, September 19th, 20th, and 21st. Those 3 games, you have to sweep them. You can't win 2 out of 3. You have to sweep them. So they got to win tonight versus Baltimore, which they're probably not going to because I just know how this team is. You know, they really pissed me off.
Seems like they're just running out of gas.
They are. Devers is hurt. He's playing with a hurt shoulder. You know, I don't see them winning it. I don't see them making it. I might cry tears of joy to make the playoffs. That's how much I don't think they'll make it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. Still watching them. You never know. I don't know, RG. If they are within 3 games that Twin Series, I might have to go.
Oh, I'm going.
I might have to go with that.
I might go if it's 3 games. Yeah, I'll go.
I'll go with you if you want, honestly. Cause
everyone should go. But if they're not 3 games, I'm not going. So that's the way I'm looking at it. We'll see what happens. I mean, you know, this is Boston Red Sox baseball. John Henry's, you know, I'm not a big fan of him.
It's only 1-0 now.
Yeah, I know it's 1-0 now, but I'm saying I'm not a fan of John Henry. He could have done a lot more for this team. I think he's a terrible owner. I could say a lot more, but I keep it clean on this podcast, so I'm going to keep it clean. You know, I don't like him at all. You know, Sam Kennedy, he's another one. You know, this organization don't want to pay guys. You gotta extend Jerry Durant too. You know, he's gonna be a free agent. You gotta get Devers back because you know his shoulder's messed up. He's playing hurt.
Yeah.
He has 28 home runs. He's been stuck with 28 home runs for like a month. So it's like, you know, I don't know. This Red Sox team, they get on my nerves though. They really do.
But yeah, solid show. We got new software, new technology, so hopefully it actually runs smoother this time.
For sure.
And we're actually supposed to be a WMCK radio app that they're making. So that would be really
That's good.
That would be on it.
Word. But
maybe no ads that incent us to tune in ads. Maybe we'll have our own little system.
Maybe we could try to get back in the studio sometimes this week. Because
Yeah.
I have a lot to say on Caleb Williams next time.
Hopefully,
I got a lot to say on him. So.
Hopefully, Warrior Game Day 2 starts up. We're trying to do that
yeah.
That'll be
outside.
exciting.
Our first home game's at Maine, so hopefully we can have a meeting this week about that. But
We got to.
that would be sick.
Awesome.
Little college game day out here in Merrimack.
Just yeah, hopefully yeah.
Big
hopefully
Dane's
it's
coming
not,
from communication department over
facts.
here. We're very excited.
Hopefully they keep it a little closer against Maine.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It wasn't,
What, Maine football?
No,
we'll be at home.
yeah,
You know what?
Merrimack football team.
They're gonna beat you Maine at home.
I think
but,
they'll beat you, man.
They're gonna beat you Maine. But anyways, thank you people.
Solid
and
show.
Peace.
Peace.